Hi friends, welcome to my channel Go Cool and Be Cool Lead Auditor Training Program Examination Tips and Tricks for ISO 14001 2015. We are going to see 20 case study, my dear friends, how we can able to make sure that it is NC and how we can able to write the report for NC closing. Are you ready? Yeah, welcome back. Lead Auditor Training Program Examination Tips and Tricks ISO 14001 2015 Part 4. We are going to see it Part 4. So all people, they generally request that how to write the NC and then how we need to declare, and please give some kind of example. So what I decided, like whatever the study we made it, and I have compiled it and then we put it as an example, which is very simple, and then we made it very simple especially for you. You can go through it continuously, watch the video. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you are going to start this video, please start from the basic, my dear friends. See, once you start from the basic, you will come to know like what all the step-by-step activities is we supposed to do that, especially for this leader training program. So if you are going for part 4, you will never understand clearly. Just you can go to the basics, so 1 2 3 and then come to the 4. So we are going to see 20 case study NC closing report writing. So now first of all we need to understand as far as the 19011 auditors principle. So what is supposed to do that? Certification body definition. First we have to understand what is NC, and so many confusions generally we have. Okay, according to ISO 19011 guidelines for auditing management systems and major certification bodies like TUV, SUD, DNV and then BSI. My dear friends, please understand non-conformity, that is NC. Directly we can declare it is a NC in the sense a failure to meet a requirement ISO 14001 or organization. So it is a failure, like they are not meeting the basic requirement. So it will surely going to damage the environment. So severity, so yes, generic terms can be major or minor, we can say something like that. So NC, we can hope we can able to complete this one. Now coming to major NC, that is a M&C. So a series, a very serious and then systemic failure impacting EMS effectiveness or compliances. High risk, that is a legal breach, something like that. Minor NC, an isolated lapses with a limited impact on the EMS. So low risk, example missing record. Opportunities for improvement, YFI suggestions to improve, not a requirement violation, so not a conformity. So we can declare it is not conformity, we are just suggesting. So major key point, NC is the umbrella term. So generally it includes like major NC, minor NC. MNC is major NC, and then minor NC is, we can say minor NC, something like that. So before entering to the case study of NC, so we have to understand. Now why some auditors say NC and then another auditor say it is MNC, minor NC. So NC means like a major and something like that. In some companies or training programs as auditors simply terms is like NC. NC means there is a major non-conformity, major NC. Its terms as NC. Minor conformity is MNC and then YFI. So only three things available, my dear friends. Please understand. NC means it is directly major NC. We can say it is NC. So minor NC means which is not damaging the requirements or something, but it is missing of calibration, missing of training record, something like that. We can declare it's MNC. YFI is generally for the improvement purpose, scope of the improvement, but the things are very nice, but you are running in the very low band, low level. So but it is meeting the specification and everything, but it is possible for the improvement. We have a good scope of improvement for further leveling up. So reason for confusion. So legacy practice, some auditors were trained so in this way years ago. Simplification, easier to say NC for major issues and MNC for the minor issues. Okay, my dear friends, are you ready? Okay, now third point is like what should you follow? So in the TUV SUD exams, so officially NC is like a major, minor, and then major MNC, then minor NC, and then YFI. Exam strategy, use standard terms as major NC, minor NC, and then if the question uses NC or MNC differently, check is NC defined a major in this question, so adjust accordingly. So when in doubt, just your clarification, major NC due to leak risk. You can write it down as it is seen. So examples just to clarify. Case 1, so this is not case 1 first of all. So scenario 1, we are going to see 20 scenarios when it goes under. This is just an example. So examples as to classify case 1 is a major NC, that is a systemic failure. Observation is no legal register maintained. So report as major NC class number 6.1.3, legal register not maintained. Evidence is no documents is found. Okay, case number 2, minor NC isolated issue, one employee missing training records. As minor NC, that is class number 7.2, training not provided to employee X. So we can say evidence is no record for 2024. Now case number 3, OFI improvement suggestion, like manual data entry for emission, no automation. So once you start observing these kind of things, you can suggest yes, we have considering automation, emission data logging to reduce error. So this is what the things we're supposed to be. What is the key takeaways? We have standard terms of ISO 19011 TEV seed. TEV suit is any non-conformities, then serious, and then systemic, isolated, suggestion. So these are all the terms as being considered. If auditor use NC major, MNC minor, adopt their terminologies in that specific context. In exam, default to standard standard definitions is unless instructed otherwise. So that is what the thing we supposed to know that. Then classify based on impact, major complaints or EMS failure, minor means procedure slip. So slip means what? They have not done anything, or maybe somewhere it is missing, something like that. Okay, quick recap for your exam success. Non-conformity, generic terms for any requirement failure. So could be major or minor, something like that. Example, missing a single record, training record is minor NC. Okay, major NC, that is a NC. Serious and then systemic failure. Example, a legal breach, missing entire process. Then example, no legal register, major NC we can declare. OFI is, as said, like the scope for improvement for the better accuracy, considering automation, something like that in the MNC. Format for NC rising, my dear friends. So generally what happened during lead auditor examination, so 15 marks will be asked for this question, or maybe depends on the the agencies to whom you are appearing. Okay, this example I am talking about TEV only, school only. So 15 marks. Everywhere we have a mark. Class number, if you write, 5 marks will be given. Why it has taken class number, and then what is the justification you are going to provide, that is for 5 marks. And then what is the corrective action, what is the scope of improvement, and what is the subjective evidences you are going to provide. So 5 marks. So put together 15 marks we can applicate it. But you have to provide the evidence. Okay, my dear friends, now format for NC writing follow strictly in examination non-conformity statement, like class plus requirement plus evidence. Classification major minor. So what is the example? 6.1.2, the organization failed to identify environmental aspects as for its new chemical storage unit. Evidence, no records of aspects identification were available. So this is the major NC, and as it impacts legal complaints and everything. Now NC writing format in exam for scoring full marks. So how we can score the full mark writing examination? So that also we can see some samples, like why this format works and how to ensure full marks. So complaints with audit standard, the class requirement and evidence of format aligns with ISO 19011 audit principles and TEV suit expectation for systemic non-conformity of reporting. Exam tip is avoid vague statement like the company failed to comply. It is not like that. Instead, make it specific classes. Class number 6.1.3, legal register not updated. So instead of writing this, you can write like this. Make it very clear, and then previous of giving the statement and all. So precautionally you have to write the statement. So before entering to the conclusion mode. Okay, clear classification, make it very clear. So what is that you are declaring, and then what is the purpose we are going to have it. Now third point is evidence specificity. So auditors demand irrefutable proof. Your example, like a no calibration record for pH meter in 2024. So demonstrate attentions to details. Exam tip, like use mock audit evidence, like evidence management review minutes Jan 2024. So lack energy consumption analysis. Corrective action is relevance if asked. So then propose realistic actionable steps. Example, update the legal registers by date. What is the date we have, and then assign accountability to role. Exam tip is like avoid generic fixes like train staffs. Instead, you can make that conduct focused training for procurement team. So on energy efficient purchasing by Q3 2024. So Q3, that July, August, and then September, it is a Q3, and then 2024 is the year they have mentioned. Okay, so now no marks will be given if wrong class or wrong evidence is you have shown in case of anything wrong. Okay, incorrect class references. What is that? Incorrect class, wrong class. For example, you are choosing no legal register, no legal register, class number 4.4. No, it is wrong. Right is 6.1.3, legal register not maintained. So make sure that you are writing the class. So overlooking evidence like weak is no training records. No, not like that. No training records for new hires, employee hash 123 hash 456 employees, so on so on employees as per HR onboarding logs. See, my dear friend, please understand, vague simple sentence, generic sentence, they will never provide you mark. If it is 5 marks, for example, you are providing an evidence or class identification, they will give only 2 to 3 marks, but you will lose 2 marks. So in that case, what happened? Domain level, 4 domain you are going to address. So 4 domain you have to pass 50% mark. You will never get it at all. So please make sure that you are writing very precisely, and then make sure that very beautiful statement you are writing with respect to the evidence what you are going to see in front of you, what is there in the scenario itself. Now misclassifying NCs. Major NC requires significant EMS breakdown. Example, recurring incidents, legal breaches. So minor NCs are one time slips. Yes, training record is missing, calibration is missing, everything, even though they have it is missed, but the process is very nice in the sense like we can declare it is MNC. A minor NC we can declare. Major NC we have to declare that it is totally spoiled. Recurring incidents is happening. There is no any strong action is taken in the sense that you can able to provide it. So single slip is nothing but MNC. Please make sure that simply you cannot able to declare everything as NC. Okay, MNC, yes, one time slip or one time observation we can able to. Vague corrective action is also make sure that weak is improved documentation. No. Strong is implement a centralized document control systems with the quarterly audit by Q2 2025. So it's supposed to be like that. So we need to be more precise and then what is supposed to be given very clearly. Now my dear friends, are you ready? We are going to see 20 examples as so with beautiful observation, answer statement and then corrective action. Now scenario number 1, incomplete life cycle perspective in aspect identification. So once the statement is given, observation, the organization manufacturer plastic packaging but has not considered end of life disposal impacts. So example, recyclability, microplastic leakage in its environmental aspect assessment. So what is the NC statement? We have class number 6.1.2. The organization failed to consider the life cycle perspective and life disposal when identifying environmental aspects for its plastic packaging products. So evidence like aspect register only covers protection phase emission. So major NC, fundamental omission impacting EMS effectiveness. So what is the corrective action they can able to take it? Update the aspect register, so to include life cycle stages, so per ISO 14001 2015 6.1.2 and conduct a risk assessment for end of life impact. So that is how we need to write it. Okay, so we will see next one is scenario number 2, lack of operational control over outsourced waste management. So observation is like a contractor handling hazardous waste disposal lacks so proper permits, but the organization has no records of due diligence. So example like license verification and then audit. NC statement is class 8.1. So we have to declare it and then we have to start writing. The organization did not establish operational controls to ensure its hazardous waste contractor complies with the legal requirements. As evidence is no documentation of contracted permits or audit. So major NC is legal non-compliance risk. Corrective actions, implement a supplier evaluation process for outsourced EMS activities including permit verification and then periodic audit. So that is what we need to start writing the corrective action. Now coming to scenario number 3, inconsistent emergency response training. So observation we have to write it. The EMS require annual fire drill training so for all shifts, but night shift employee 30% of workforce have not participated in drills for 2 years. So what the observation is like this. So we have to write class number 8.2 as said in the PDCA, like in the previous video itself. For class number 8.2, the organization did not ensure all shift received emergency response training as per procedure. Evidence is night shift training record missing for 2023-2024. So minor NC, isolated lapses but systemic if recurring. It is not happen, but we are declaring it as a MNC. Corrective action is conduct make up trainings for night shift and revise the training schedule to include all shifted. See, my dear friends, actually the procedure what it says, it's supposed to be actual line condition. If line condition is different, procedure is very outdated in the sense, please update the procedure. Simple, that's all. Okay. Now fourth one, unaddressed, so recurring non-conformity. Observation is the previous audit identified missing calibration records for air quality monitor. The issue reoccurred in the current audit despite a corrective action plan. So NC statement is 10.2 because improvement is not effective. The organization failed to implement effective corrective actions for recurring non-conformities. Evidence is air monitor calibration record still incomplete after 2023 corrective action. So major NC systemic failure in corrective action process. So corrective action is like root cause analysis to identify why the corrective action failed. So example, lack of accountability, clear procedure, and revise the action plan. So that is scenario number 4. Now coming to scenario number 5, misinterpretations of compliance obligations. As observation, the organization self-declared compliances with the local water discharge limit 50 ppm COD, but regulatory records show the permitted limit is 30 ppm. So NG statement, so class number 6.1.3, the organization incorrectly interpreted its legal compliances obligations for wastewater COD limit. Evidence is discharge reports shows 45 ppm versus permitted 30 ppm. Spec versus actual is different, so directly we can take it to 6.1.3. so major NC we can take it regulatory violation directly. What is the corrective action supposed to be there? Immediately halt non-compliances discharges, update the legal registers, and conduct the compliance audit for all permits. Now, sixth scenario is inadequate communications of significant aspect. Observation, like high energy consumption is significant aspect, it's not communicated to procurement staffs, leading to purchases of non-energy efficient equipment. So what is the class of for this NC statement is 7.4. The organization did not internally communicate its significant environmental aspects to relevant functions. Evidence is procurement team unaware of energy efficiency requirements. So minor NC communication breakdown. Corrective action include procurement in EMS training and then update in internal communication protocol. So that is the scenario number 6. Now scenario number 7, no evaluations of change impact. Observation, a new production line was added, so without accessing its environmental impacts, noise, wastewater generation, etc. So NC statement supposed to be 6.1.1. The organization failed to evaluate the environmental impacts of changes. Evidence no risk assessment so for the new production line. So there is a major NC because uncontrolled risk introductions. Corrective action, conduct the post HOC impact as well as impact assessment, and then integrate change management into the EMS. So that is the scenario number 7. Now coming to scenario number 8 is inconsistent monitoring of key performance indicator KPI. So that is happening for all the area. Generally, observation is EMS requires monthly tracking of fuel consumption, but data is recorded sporadically, gaps in 4 of 12 months. In this statement, class number 9.1, the organization did not monitor its energy consumption, that is KPI, as planned. Evidence is missing fuel usage records for April, July, August, November 2023. You have to write it very specifically which month you have taken as subjective evidences. Corrective action, align accountability for KPI tracking, and then automate data collections where possible. So now coming to scenario number 9, management review without data driven decision. Observation, management review side improve energy efficiency but lack analysis of there is a lack of analysis of consumption trends or actionable targets. So class number 9.3, management reviews did not include evaluations of EMS performances data to drive decision evidences. No energy consumption trends allowed in 2023 reviews. So minor NC we have declared ineffective review process. Corrective action is like revise management reviews templates to include data analysis and then smart objectives. Now, scenario number 10. What is the scenario number 10? No documented process for stakeholder complaints. Observation: the community complaints about factory noise was resolved informally, but no records or corrective action were documented. So, NC statement is class number 7.4.2. The organization has no documented process for addressing external stakeholder communication. Evidence is no records for noise complaint. That is a resolution. Then what is the minor NC is non-documentation. Corrective action, like develop a stakeholder complaint procedures and then log all the interactions. That is the corrective action we can take it. Scenario number 11. Uncontrolled outsourced environmental testing. So observation is third party lab conducts waste water testing, but the organization has no records of the labs according to the accreditations body of 17,025 or methodology validations, as we can say. NG statement, class number 8.1. The organization failed to ensure controlled outsourcing of environmental monitoring. That is evidence is no records for the lab accreditations or test method validations for contractor XYZ. Major NC, risk of unbelievable data affecting complaints or something like that we can say. Corrective actions, what is that we can do? That verify the lab ISO 17025 accreditation, documentation, methodology validation, and then include clauses in contract for audit rights. Now, scenario number 12. Inadequate evaluations of emergency drill. So fire drills are conducted quarterly but no evidence evaluations. Example, evacuation time analysis, participants feedback is documented. NC is 8.2. The organization did not evaluate the effectiveness. Please understand, the effectiveness evaluation we have to mention it. Effectiveness of emergency preparedness drills. Okay, evidence is no records of drill performances review for 2023. That is also minus binary NC we can declare it. Procedural gap we have. So correction action is introduce a drill evaluation checklist. Example, evacuation time, bottlenecks, and then document improvements, as we can say. Now coming to scenario number 13. Missing baseline data for environmental objectives. Observation is EMS set a target to reduce water use by 10% in 2024, but no baseline data. 2023 consumption was recorded to measure progress. So NC statement, so class number 6.2.1, environmental objectives were established without baseline data. Evidence, evidence number is 2023 water consumption records us to compare against 2024 targets. So major NC is renders objectives unmeasurable. Corrective actions is retroactively collect baseline data. Example, utility bills and revise objectives and measurable KPI. Now scenario number 14. No risk assessment for climate change impact. Observations is the organization's aspect register does not consider climate related risk. Example, flooding, supply chain disruptions despite operating in a flood prone zones. Hence statement class number 6.1.2, climate change risk were not evaluated in environmental aspect identification. Evidence is as per register lacks flood disruption risk for site A. So major NC we can directly say that it is a strategic oversight. And then corrective action is conduct a climate vulnerability assessment and then update the aspects as registered ISO 14001 2019 guidance. Okay, so there is a revisions of we can say it's aspect revisions. Now scenario, uncontrolled use of absolute document. Okay, uncontrolled use of absolute document as far as scenario number 15. So the spill response procedure revision number 2 was superseded by revision number 3, but revision number 2 was found in the use at the warehouse. So NC classification we can say class number 7.5.3, absolute documents were not removed from the point of users. Evidence revision number 2 procedure found in warehouses versus active is revision number 3. As I said that plan versus actual generally it get differs. Then target versus actual, that is what is there in the line, it's really outdated, but maybe it is a new one because of the emerging digitalization of all those kind of upgradations and everything, but procedure they are failed to change it. But as a ISO procedure, see, please understand, my dear friends, whenever you are in the line or you are in the in charge for controlling the EMS or anything is okay. But the thing is that you people need to ensure that the coming auditor is not an expert. Okay, they will take simply the procedure as against to the procedure, the line is available or the process is there. Simply they will confirm what is given and what is actually available. If it differs, generally they will go for MNC or MC. Please understand. Okay, accordingly we have to decide it. So outdated documents are supposed to be removed, so we can declare minor NC, potential for inconsistent response. Corrective action, we can say conduct a document control audit and implement centralized digital systems with access control. Now scenario number 16 is no legal compliance evaluations for expired permits. Observation, the year emission permit expired 3 months ago, but operation continued without renewal or interim risk assessment. NC statement, like class number 6.1.3, the organization operated without a valid air emission permit. Evidence is permit expiry 2023, so lapsed on 15th Jan 2024, so no renewal application, regulatory breach, so we can say it is a major NC. Immediately apply for permit renewals, halt non-compliant operations and introduces a permit expiry tracking system. Now coming to the scenario number 17, inconsistent communications with the contractor. So observation is temporary construction contractors also were not informed of the site noise control requirements, leading to community complaints. NC statement is class number 7.4.1. The organization did not communicate relevant EMS requirement to contractor. Evidences no briefing records for contractor ABC on noise limit. So minor NC, we can declare communication lapses. Incorrect corrective action is like implement a contractor induction process, covering EMS requirements and then documents sign off. That is first of all a training. Okay, now scenario number 18, no root cause analysis for recurring incidents. Continuously, why it is recurring? So observation, 3 chemical spills occurred in 6 months due to a valve leak, but corrective actions is only address the immediate cleanup, not valve maintenance. NC statement, we declared that class 10 point corrective actions for chemical spill did not address the root cause. Root cause is not clear, there is no any addressing of the root cause, so in that case directly we can take it a call. There is NC call. Evidence, no maintenance records for faulty valves. Repeats in Jan, April, July 2024. So major NC we have taken, that is a systemic failure. And then corrective action is conduct a root cause analysis, example 5Y or maybe AD analysis, something like that. Revise. So preventive maintenance schedules and then train staff. So that is what the requirement. So scenario number 19, management review without resource allocations. As observation is the 2023 management review identified high energy cost. So as on issues but allocated but no budget for efficient project. So NC statement is, we can say, class number 9.3, management reviews did not result in resource allocations for identified EMS issues. So evidence is no budget assignment for energy saving projects in 2024. So minor NC, ineffective decision making, as we can say. What is the corrective actions we supposed to recommend? Link management review outcomes to budgetary planning and assign accountability for action items. Finally, scenario 20, no life cycle assessment for new product. Observation, a new product line, battery powered devices were launched without assessing end of life, recycling, disposal impact, something like that. NC statement is class number 6.1.2. The organization excluded life cycle stages, end of life in environmental aspect assessment for product X. So evidence is no recycling, disposal analysis in design records. So major NC we can declare as it is a strategic omissions. So corrective action, what it's supposed to be, conduct a life cycle assessment LCA and then update the aspects. So register, then integrate eco design principles, and then the final one is the scenario 20. Now, what is that key takeaway so for the examination, my dear friends? Please understand, we have seen 20 examples of how to write NC. Okay, we have seen lot of things, lot of classes also available. So class precision, we supposed to have it. Always cite the exact ISO 14K classes. Example 6.1.2, not just accept aspects identification. Evidence specify, avoid vague statement. Example, no records, no calibration records for pH meter in 2024. Major or minor. So as we said that major is like impacts complaint, system failure, or EMS integrity not meeting. So we can directly take it as a NC. Minor NC is isolated lapses with limited one-time occurrences or impact, something like that. Corrective action, if asked, so propose realistic, actionable steps, etc. So update the procedures and everything. So finally, let's learn and level up ourselves, and let us help and support others. So without pain, there is no gain. I hope you like this video. So please give your valuable comments so that I can also level up myself. So and share to your beloved ones. So thank you very much, and thanks for watching.